Greetings to all. This is the continuation of atrial enlargement and how to determine those changes in ECG. In previous video, we have discussed that to find the atrial enlargement, it is crucial to look at two basic leads, and these two basic leads are lead 2, lead 2 and lead V1. So these are the two basic leads to be looked at. So now in this example, let us jump directly into lead 2. So here you see this is lead 2. So in this lead 2 you see that the P wave here, so the P wave here you see it is peaked, peaked P wave. You see here the morphology of P wave is picked up. You see here, so it is of course uh, greater than 2.5 small square box. You see the morphology. So this is the feature denoting that it is right atrial enlargement. So you may be thinking, why is there greater than 2.5 small square box? So generally in case of P wave, so again let me draw pictorial representation of a heart here. So this will be your heart, and when we divide it into right atrium and left atrium, so let me fill it up. So this will be your right atrium. Oops. Okay, this white part here is your right atrium and this part here is your left atrium. So when we draw, so in case of lead 2, suppose this is an isoelectric line, and when we keep the right atrial vector, so right atrial depolarization vector goes from up to down in this direction, and left atrial depolarization vector will go from right to left in this direction, and the resultant vector will be somewhere coming from here to here in this direction. So you see, so the resultant vector will be in this direction. So in P wave, in lead 2, uh, in P wave lead 2, you see basic fonda is that because of right atrial enlargement, because of right atrial depolarization. So this is the feature showing right atrial depolarization, and another you will have left atrial depolarization. So these will overlap each other. So in resultant you will have P wave like this. So one thing you need to keep in mind is that the normal P wave morphology is such that the height of P wave is less than 2.5 small square box, and the length, this length or the duration of P wave is again less than 2.5 small square box. But in case of right atrial enlargement, so again let me draw here. Suppose this is isoelectric line. It is not straight. Is isoelectric line, and here I draw right atrial. Now because of right atrial enlargement, the right atrial representation will be a bit broad, and left atrial representation will be same as previous one. So when we draw the resultant vector, so the resultant P wave will be like this. So you see here, now the P wave morphology, it is peaked P wave, and this peaked P wave occupies greater than 2.5 small square box, and this duration is also might be greater than 2 small box. But the basic funda to look at is the height of P wave. So when you look at the height of P wave here, so this P wave height here, it will be greater than 2.5 small square box. So it is occupying 3 small square box. So here again you see, so it is peaked P wave. Again here you see in lead 2 it is peaked P wave. So rather than this distance, you see that the height, and when it is greater than 2.5 small square box, it is called, it may be because of right atrial enlargement. Now another thing to look at is lead B1. Suppose now I put here B1, so B1 will be somewhere here. So here you will have your B1. So when you see that the vector of right atrial depolarization is facing towards B1. So right atrial depolarization will be positive in B1. However, left atrial enlargement, left atrial depolarization is facing away from B1. So when we draw that, suppose this is isoelectric line. So let's say in B1, the right atrial enlargement will have small positive deflection, whereas left atrial depolarization will be small negative depolarization. So it will be like transverse S. So, but in case of right atrial enlargement, the positive deflection vector in right atrial enlargement, this vector will be greater in magnitude. So the upward deflection seen here will be greater in magnitude. So it will be like this. So you see here the positive deflection P wave will be greater in magnitude, that is greater than 1 small square box, whereas the lower one will be less. So you see here in lead B1, so here is our lead B1. So let me draw it here. So this is your lead B1. So you see here, and when you see that this here, this magnitude will be greater than this magnitude. So you see here, if you draw here, so this is 1 square box, it is greater than 1 square box it is occupying. So from B1 also you can look at the positive deflection, and when it is greater than the smaller deflection, then it again shows towards right atrial enlargement. So this is the example of right atrial enlargement.